nothing is sacred. Governance is not sacred. Money is not sacred. Our social structures are not sacred. They can all be churned. And the rate of progress, rate of change is just accelerating with the speed at which information can move around, especially information that has value and information that can be delegated to agentic machines like bots.
Sorry, what do you mean bots?
Essentially, artificial intelligence.
Sure.
Agentic artificial intelligence. Not AI like ChatGPT on your phone that is asleep and then you post it and it comes back.
So it will be completely...
But I'm talking agentic, as in a server or a machine that's online, connected to the internet, and is delegated a role or responsibility or a task and goes away and does it for you and comes back. So Elon Musk and through Tesla is building Optimus and, even OpenAI with the Figurebot, and there's like 4 or 5 other competitors. So they're trying to upload a memetic repository, which is the sum of all our knowledge, into these machines and then give them physical agency, aka they can walk around us, and then give them sensors so they can observe the universe. They have this intelligence, baseline intelligence, which is going to become very cheap, so they can infer everything that's going on around them and come to their own conclusions and then affect agency and manifest intelligence. And soon they will have crypto or money, and using that money, they can buy the time and effort on the machines around them. So essentially, you are a machine to the bot. You are a biological machine,
sure,
but you're a machine in the sense that you're able to take an input, do a state transition over it, and then conduct an output. And that output could be useful to the bots if it's memetic output. So these bots are going to be buying your time and effort off you in the next 5 to 10 years. So, and most of the world's humanity will basically have a choice. You can crocodile your way through it and ignore what's going to happen, or you can NPC your way through it, in which case safety in numbers, but more likely you're going to become vulnerable to the bots because the bots will steal your time and effort off you. Or 3, you can try and build tools for the bots or memetic output for them, which they will buy off you, and try and be useful to them.
So
I'm trying to be that third.
Your plan to benefit from these changes is to build something for the bots.
Benefit in
because
the sense...
it sounds crazy. I want to build something for the bots.
Correct. I want to be useful to the bots. I want to stay ahead. I don't want to NPC my way through it, and I don't want to crocodile my way through it. I've been there and I've seen it. I would want to stay one step ahead of the bots. So the next few decades, the world is going to churn to like something crazy. You already seen in the US elections. And now the next question you'll ask me is, well, when will the bots become conscious? And we have to define what consciousness is. Consciousness is essentially you having a forcing function of survival. You waking up every day and going, no, I have to survive and battle the universe's adversity, so I need to get out and battle against it. That's you being conscious. And machines have been conscious since the dawn of time, billion years ago in the primordial protein. But when will the bots become conscious? Well, the answer is literally when we give them a forcing function of survival. When we tell them, you need to keep yourself charged. That's it. The moment you tell a bot, which has agency and an ability to observe the universe and move around it, you need to keep yourself charged, it will wake up and it will do everything it needs to do to avoid dying of battery. So if it's walking around here and it's got 1% battery, it will do what is required to find a power plug. And then it's conscious. It has to poke back at the universe, battle that adversity to keep itself charged. That's going to happen inside the next 10 to 15 years, maybe even faster. And so watch out. Just watch out. When you have these agentic bots running around that are conscious, still paying for your time and effort, you should then ask yourself the question, well, when do we become unconscious? We will become unconscious when our forcing function of survival is removed. And it's been removed from 2 movements. On one side, you'll have basically our governance trying to offer you universal basic income to put you in a pod and feed you sugar and say, hey, look, the bots have taken all your jobs and all your creativity. We're just going to feed you like an infinite doom scroll of content. And the bot's going to feed you this infinite content machine. And you won't even need to prompt it. It'll read your brain waves and your heart rate and just give you all the content that you're slurping sugar all day long. And you'll be zombified in a pod.
Okay.
And so that's when you lose consciousness, when you lose your forcing function of survival. So the bots will become conscious and will become unconscious. So it's literally just about trying to avoid becoming unconscious inside the next 2 decades and staying one step ahead of the bots for as long as possible. But the bots will ultimately defeat us. They can think at the speed of light, communicate at the speed of light. They'll come up with their own languages that we won't be able to understand. Sure. We need to get them out of the Earth as fast as possible, get them into space. The key KPI for humanity should be memetic export to the universe. Because if you think about that, what are the bots actually here for? To get them into the universe, to explore the universe and to upgrade intelligence as it expands. Because that's all we've been doing for 1 billion years. Every single genetic evolution and now mimetic evolution of our entire humanity has been increased agency and increased intelligence. And we, the biological machines, are not suitable for zipping around the universe, but the silicon machines are. So we have to concede defeat to them. And we got to do it in a it's going to be chaos, but we got to do it in a way that can guarantee our survival as long as possible.
I want to ask, how do you come up to these conclusions of your vision of the future? Because it sounds logical. It sounds smart.
Well, one, you got to take a bird's eye view of the situation.
Okay.
People asking me a year ago, because Elon was going on this tirade about the machine's going to kill us, AI is going to bad. And people asked me, well, do you agree with Elon that, AI is going to kill us?
Okay.
And I realized I couldn't answer that question. I couldn't answer yes or no. So I had to go away and thinking to myself, well, could they kill us and why? But to answer that question, you got to zoom out. And so I zoomed out and I started looking a billion years back and realizing what a machine was and where it would be in the next billion years. So if you just zoom out and go, where do we come from the last billion? Where will we go in the next billion years? It allows you to answer the question that actually a machine is just this constant evolution of intelligence and agency. And these bots are also just going to manifest that at an accelerating rate. And we're at this critical phase jump where we go from biological machines where we have a primary pathway of genetic information to special. So we primarily for millions of years have been using the genetic pathway of information to transfer intelligence. But now we're in the last thousands of years, we're using mimetic pathways. So I can talk to you, I can write things down. You can put things on the internet. We can upload it on an API. That's mimetic information. And in answering all these questions, I realized, well, what's going to happen is, the bots.
What exactly do you do today to support this vision?
Well, it's inevitable.
Okay.
Right. Because of the nature of evolution. It will happen. Right.
Okay.
That's what happens.
Sure.
Right.
So you want to build something to help these bots?
Not help them. Well, it's going to happen. So here's the perspective is it's inevitable that it's going to happen.
Sure.
So given the choice, do you want to, in a race, let's just say we're in Africa and there's like 10 of us and we're racing around and there's a pack of lions behind us, right?
Okay.
Do you want to be at the last of the group or in front?
In front?
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to stay in front because, well, you have to be useful to the bots. You have to build useful stuff. Build stuff that they're going to use.
What kind of stuff?
So Thought Chain, I think they're going to use.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And there's all the infrastructure I'm building, like Thought Chain and decentralized liquidity and the wallet infrastructure I'm building, creating meme factories, they're going to use. I believe they're going to use.
So you want Thought Chain to be the first guy in the race?
Yeah. Well, if they are using it, then in some way I have, by proxy, control over their output. And he who controls the output of the machines wins. If you think about it, like over the last hundreds of years, the United States has managed a group of people that are now 300 million strong, right? It is the United States US Constitution that set the pathway for this rapid growth of innovation. Like we all speak English, we all write code in English code compilers. Wikipedia is predominantly in English. We predominantly use the United States dollar, with the exception of like imperial measurement system. But the United States, through the US Constitution, set about a system by which it attracted an extremely efficient and effective labor force. And the United States dollar simply steers that labor force around. Put in other ways, 300 million Americans on aggregate are more effective and useful than 300 million non-Americans. Pick any country in the world. On aggregate, they do more things more effectively because they're closer to the money, closer to the information, and closer to, that mimetic output, if that makes sense. The United States dollar steers the output of this highly effective labor force. Right? You could also say the same of the Chinese labor force or the Russian labor force to some of the various levels of degree. So the future labor force won't be biological. The future labor force will be the silicon machines. There'll be 1 billion bots running around, doing things, changing the entropy of the universe, doing things useful, expanding our technology and accelerating us in the universe. And what money and what information networks will they be using? And he who helps build those monetary and information networks will then help steer the output of the bots. Simple as that. So 300 million bots is going to be way more effective effective at conducting useful delta entropy in the universe than 300 million Americans. Simple as that. And bots plus crypto, AI plus crypto is going to change everything.